What's up, guys? Doc Ito here with an Alita update. The doctor is in. Today, we are talking about the sequel. A few articles came out, one of which makes me furious, talking about if a sequel is possible and whether the sequel remains in a dire state, as the first film didn't make enough and maybe no sequel is coming. This article is garbage. We're going to talk about it and debunk it. We do not stand by in the presence of evil. It came in EconoTimes. Of course, EconoTimes just published another article talking about how a sequel is going to happen before, a few weeks ago, and just 2 days ago. So now they're trying to change their tune. We'll go into all of this. First, reminders. Head on to change.org and sign the petition if you haven't. We crossed 13,000. Great day yesterday. We are above 13,000 and climbing. So keep on voting if you haven't. Run the petition. We are going to fight all the way for the sequel. Remember to vote for the movie on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic if you haven't. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of Doc Ito's free repairs. So let's talk about this article. Should Disney greenlight the sequel? First of all, yes. Next article. No, we'll talk about it. The fate remains in dire state. I love when they use such dramatic words right in the beginning, after the film failed to reach 500 million, which would have justified a sequel. Well, hold on. If you click through this, they cite this Variety article, quote, "Executives at a rival studio estimate Alita Battle Angel will need to gross 500 million globally to get out of the red." Well, that's ridiculous. The movie had a $170 million budget. When have we ever seen a movie need almost 3 times the amount of the budget to make back its cost? You do not hear that. Usually you think about twice as much. And this is a rival studio. Of course they're going to try to say the movie's going to be a failure because they're trying to prop up their own movies and their own IPs. So you can throw that number out instantly because it came from a rival studio. Insiders at Fox say the break-even is closer to 350. So obviously if it's closer to 350, and these are insiders at Fox who are the ones that would know because this is their movie, of course they might be exaggerating a little bit, but 350 sounds much closer to reality than 500 million. So these numbers are ridiculous, and the argument that the article makes that it's in a dire state is just flat out wrong. Not so fast, my friend. And beyond that, the article itself in Variety, Alita banks on foreign audiences to save it from a box office disaster. I mean, this by itself is a hit piece on Alita, and now we have that quoted in another piece that you could consider a hit piece on Alita. A quick tour of the web shows that Battle Angel sequel has genuine interest. They are noticing. They are noticing Alita Army. They are noticing our fans. They are noticing how many of us want a sequel. That is a good sign. When even these pieces have to admit that Alita Army is strong and that we want the sequel. However, given the film's poor sales and one-dimensional characters, what are the chances? What? The answer is low. What are you talking about? You can pretty much stop reading an article once they talk about these type of BS arguments. I'm not going to read this whole thing. They talk about how Disney might want to create a franchise, the fact that the world of Alita is an interesting place and we want to go back, and the fact that we can get a lower production cost for the sequel as potential points to bring it forward. While the film established the groundwork of the physical set, a lot of the props are already in place, audiences have already been introduced to the world, and the CGI is also already made. And then here they make their last mistake. Of course, the future lies in the hands of Disney. It would be interesting to see if they agree to a sequel. Well, they don't. James Cameron owns Alita. It's not 100% in the hands of Disney. If they don't want it, we can always go to a different studio. James Cameron can do it himself. He could go to China. He could go to another studio. This does not rest in just the hands of Disney. And this article is a little strange. It just came out this morning, but if you look a couple days ago, their own paper talked about the sequel, how the movie was not a flop, how it made 403 million, how the likelihood of a sequel is high. I mean, EconoTimes, 4 days ago, the likelihood of Alita 2 is high. Today, what are the chances of Alita 2? The answer is low. Do you have an editor? Is anyone looking at your stories and your articles? Screen Rant says it's likely to come because the film ending was set up for a sequel. James Cameron has a plan for a sequel and so on and so forth. With these scenarios, Alita 2 is surely coming. So your own newspaper or your own website argues against what your new article just said. I mean, what happened in 4 days? Nothing. This is just part of the media narrative. For some reason, someone at EconoTimes decided to make a troll piece fighting against Alita. throwing shade at a potential sequel. Well, we're not going to stand by it. We're going to keep talking about Alita. We're going to support Alita. We're going to go on social media and fight for the sequel. We're going to point out hypocrisy and inaccuracies in your article. This article has nothing new. This is just an editorial posing as an article. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think there's any insider info here. On the other side of this flip coin, Hiptoro just had an article about Alita Battle Angle 2 sequel in progress, talking about how the movie did well at the box office, and news regarding the film being renewed for a second installment. There really isn't news that the movie has been renewed. We have not had any announcement from this standpoint. Here they talk about the budget and the plot of the movie, things we already know, and then they have a couple quotes from Cameron, which we've already talked about in past videos. So nothing new here. However, it does help the narrative going forward for websites to talk about the sequel being in progress by creating some positive buzz for the movie. So overall, there's nothing to fear about this article. I even hesitate sending people down there to make comments to support the movie because I don't know what's best. Honestly, it probably is okay to go down and comment positively that a sequel is happening, that we want a sequel, just to show for anyone reading these articles that there is a passionate fan base for Alita. The reason I hesitate is I also don't want to drive clicks to these garbage stories because this is what these websites live for. So overall, we don't know. We have nothing new to add on the sequel front. The sequel is not in a dire state. We are going to keep supporting Alita. Remember the petition and all the reminders. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any free repairs. We do not stand by in the presence of evil, and we will continue to fight for Alita. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. God bless. Doc out.